everybody, from the heads of states to the regular common and poor man. That's the mercy, it says here, by his causeless mercy. He bestows the benediction of devotional service upon his devotees. So devotees and non-devotees get the benediction of the Lord's causeless mercy, but we need to go out there and expand that causeless mercy by performing the Yugadharma, Harinam, Sankirtan, and of course distributing books. Narada Muni himself is also an amazing personality, giving his causeless mercy. In the Kartik pastime, we know how the sons of Kuvera were enjoying. Somehow, when one has a lot of opulence, it's described as sons of Kuvera, his father's the treasure of the Devas, so much opulence they're enjoying. And by Narada Muni's causeless mercy, he gives them the benediction to become trees in Nanda Maharaj's courtyard. Of course, because they were naked, you must know the pastime. They were sporting with young girls in a lake, completely naked, intoxicated on Somaras. And Narada Muni passes by. And all the girls immediately understood who he is, and they covered themselves and hid. But these two boys were like, well, who are you? You want a drink? kind of thing. They were like completely intoxicated by his causeless mercy. He cursed or blessed. Cursing and blessing can be the same sometimes. To be in Nanda Maharaj's courtyard as the Amal Arjun trees. And then after Mother Yashoda binds Krishna to the grinding mortar, of course Krishna, the whole Kartik Leela, that Krishna was put down by his mother from breastfeeding because she had to attend to a pot which was overspilling. Krishna became upset, and then he goes with stones and breaks the earthen pots containing the yogurt and other milk products. He calls his cowboy friends, he calls Balaram, and they steal makan shore. And then Mother Yashoda sees all these little footprints of cream and butter all over. And she understood, oh, this naughty boy up to his tricks again, and chases him with her stick. Finally captures him and tries to bind him to the grinding mortar. But every time she tries, it's always short. The rope she gets more rope, ties more rope, but it's always short. It's never going to tie Krishna. So she goes to, actually there's some more commentary on that pastime, that she calls other cowherd ladies to give their ropes. She starts engaging others to help tie Krishna. So that's another principle there, that by Mother Yashoda setting an example, reaching out to others for help, to try and bind Krishna with love, with these ropes of love. But still it wasn't, but there's a principle in that Leela that Mother Yashoda is engaging others also in helping. And then it's always too short. Every time it's too short. So then it's 2 fingers too short. It represents our endeavor in our devotional service, that we have to endeavor as much as Mother Yashoda is endeavoring. And then this causeless mercy, the Lord's mercy. When the Lord sees us endeavoring, then his causeless mercy comes. And then he allowed her to tie him to the grinding mortar with love. And of course Krishna pulls the grinding mortar and it gets stuck in between these 2 trees, and the 2 trees smash, and the sons of Kuvera become delivered. And then Nanda Maharaj and all the coward men come, the coward boys call them. They were scared, they heard this big smashing sound, and they see Krishna there tied to the grinding mortar. So that's a beautiful pastime, showing again the Lord's causeless mercy upon the sons of Kuvera. And of course, there's a whole Leela that we can read in Krishna book about that. And so I guess I feel very fortunate to have had some association from who I felt someone who got some causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Ayendra Prabhu. He was in Washington, D.C. He joined that temple, he joined that yatra, and as a new devotee in the Brahmacharya ashram, he was going out and distributing books and doing Harinam Sankirtan together. And then he was remembering one time that the devotees would greet Srila Prabhupada at his quarters in his house, which is kind of on top of a hill. The temple's still there, Platonic temple. And then they would walk Srila Prabhupada down to the temple for darshan, arti, and guru puja and class, and accompany him with kirtan, and then return with kirtan. So one morning, Srila Prabhupada came back from his morning walk, and he was coming out of the house, and the temple, he said the temple president just pushed the mridanga in his hand and said, chant, because there wasn't anybody around to lead the kirtan. So Ayana told in one Prabhupada memories, and he's told this to us a few times, that he wasn't very expert at mridanga, but he tried his best to give his best he could to Srila Prabhupada in kirtan, and he was doing whatever kind of simple beat he was playing and leading at the top of his lungs, chanting the Maha Mantra. And he said that at a certain point, Srila Prabhupada stopped and turned and looked at him and raised his head, and in reference to his kirtan, and said, Jai. And he said that was the only one instruction or direct communication he got from Srila Prabhupada, that one Jai. And he said that one Jai, acknowledgement of his kirtan, said that became like his foundation for his entire Krishna conscious career. And it's amazing that some causeless mercy came from Srila Prabhupada through one word. And he really took that one word and that acknowledgement to his kirtan to heart. And that became like he said, his career of Krishna consciousness. So some causeless mercy flows through the Vaishnavas. And the more we expand that causeless mercy by going out and doing Harinam Sankirtan, distributing books, prasadam, then the more the Lord's causeless mercy comes on us. On our heads, we get that mercy, and then we give that to others. It comes on us, and we give that to others. So the more we give, the more we get. And eventually, the more we're giving Krishna consciousness to others, the more we get that causeless mercy, we get the opportunity to go back home to Godhead. As it says here at the end. So that after instructing Yudhisthira Maharaj, Narada Muni prays for the Lord's blessings, that he can be pleased with everyone, and that everyone become perfect in God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, and return back home to Godhead. So that's the goal. We have to really understand that that's what this process is for. That we're giving Krishna consciousness and we're receiving Krishna consciousness so that not only others can go back home to Godhead, that we also have to be eligible to go back home to Godhead. So we can only really give as much as we have in terms of Krishna consciousness. So if we have our eyes set on the goal that we're going back home to Godhead, that no matter what happens in life in Kali Yuga, we know that we are focused on going back home to Godhead, then that will really be able to be extended to others. If somehow we feel like, oh well, I'm not qualified to go back home to Godhead in this life, I'm going to have to take birth again. Well, you know what? You don't get a second chance. We have this opportunity now. It's Kali Yuga, there's the Yuga Dharma, and I know I need to qualify myself to go back home to Godhead so that we can help deliver others. So we're helping others, and at the same time we're trying our level best to also become perfect, become pure, and go back home to Godhead. And the process is actually quite easy. Shravanam Kirtanam, Srimad Bhagavatam, there's Pancha Anga Bhakti, Bhagavat Shravan, Srimurti Seva, Kirtan, the holy name, Vaishnava association, and Dham Vas. So at least once a year, I encourage everybody, if you can, at least once a year, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, no mind the expense. Try to come to Vrindavan or Mayapur festival, Kartik festival, at least once in the year or as much as possible. I know it's financially challenging to get the ticket, but if one comes to the Holy Dham and gets an opportunity, then these Pancha Anga of Bhakti, these 5 limbs, which are very delivering, they're very real and very pronounced activities of Bhakti. One can really experience charged upliftment. As you know, there's a group there in Govardhan, they meet and they read Bhagavatam every day. There's parikramas and Krishna Lila Kathas going on in those parikramas. Of course, on the ISKCON campus in Vrindavan, there's a lot of socializing. You see that at the festivals, but if one has a very clear direction, a very clear Mangalarti, a very clear sadhana, meet with one or two devotees, read Bhagavatam, chant extra, those Pancha Anga Bhaktis can really help a lot in devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada wanted that devotees who are preaching in the West, like you all doing, to actually take advantage of the holy dhams and do that. Personally myself, I bring yoga groups and student groups. I've been working with some devotees in the last 5 years with introducing non-devotees to the culture of India. We do a little tour in Delhi and then Jaipur, sometimes Rishikesh. Because now there's a very keen interest in yoga and what does India have to offer in terms of its ancient heritage. Unfortunately, India doesn't recognize that so much. India thinks that westernization, economical development, and being like westernized is the future. But most foreigners turn to India for spiritual guidance. And unfortunately they're getting cheated with Mayavad philosophy, with all kinds of bogus yogi bogies. So it's our responsibility as ISKCON devotees that when people have that interest, that we direct them correctly. Recently, earlier this year, in January, February, I brought a group from Scotland to Radhanath Maharaj's retreat center, which is not far, 2-hour drive from Mumbai. It's called Varda. Govardhan Eco Farm. Very amazing project. Maharaj has replicated Vrindavan, all the 12 forests, and all the 6 Goswamis' main temples. It's made like a mini Vrindavan. And of course there's a lot of yoga facilities, yoga halls, seminar halls, nice vegan prasadam, and a beautiful temple room with a morning program. So we're introducing non-devotees to Vrindavan through Maharaj's project. And then after 3-4 days there, we actually came to Vrindavan. And that was a little challenging for them because it was immediately they could perceive the spiritual vibration. Some of them were a little overwhelmed. There was a couple of ladies, they kind of got a little disturbed because they were Christian. And they felt like the yoga teacher hadn't made it very clear to them that there would be this whole Krishna element coming in. And we had to bring in Yujyumna Maharaj to sit them down and host them with some kind of cultural program and a vegan feast. And then we had the questions and answers. It got a little heated, but Maharaj was expert at kind of neutralizing that. This one Christian girl was challenging him. He said, I'm a Christian. I have a Bible. He called his disciple. Go bring my Bible from my room, see? I have a Bible next to my Gita. But I wanted to know when I was very young, when it talks about the Father and the hand of God, well, that hand's got to be attached to someone. Who is the person? And I found that person. For me, it's Krishna. For some people, it's Buddha. He was trying to explain to this Christian girl, it's a little too vague. I needed to know who that person was, who the personality of Godhead was. So that was we had a good 1.5 hour questions and answer session with this Christian girl and this yoga group. And then they got to feed cows, they took darshan, they sat in kirtan, took prashadam. Of course, we carried on with the Taj Mahal and all those other things. But when we introduce people to Krishna consciousness, somehow if we can get them to have a little Vrindavan experience, even if that's here in ISKCON Copenhagen, somehow introduce them to Krishna, make them chant the holy name, some prasadam, some book, then that will ignite their spiritual life. Because there's a lot of conditioned souls here. It's Kali Yuga. I heard there's more pigs in this country than there are human beings, right? Someone told me that. The population of...
Way more.
Way more. So that means that there's a lot of reincarnation taking place because people are eating a lot of pigs. Unfortunately, they have to take birth again as an animal. distribution to Janardhan Prabhu.
We're keeping it up.
So Kali Yuga, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the Western and Eastern worlds. India is also the second largest producer of beef. After, it's America, Brazil, and then it's India. And in the last 30 years, India has become more non-vegetarian than it was 30 years ago. Some statistical facts. So it shows that Kali Yuga is increasing. The demoniac presence in the planet is there. It's even there in the holy dhams. Unfortunately, recently I was, again, after that yoga tour, I was in Puri with a group of devotees on a retreat, Dhanaraj Swami's Puri Yatra. And we were coming on a Harinam procession from Tota Gopinath down the hill, and there was a butcher shop right there. Just after Tota Gopinath. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. This is Puri. Jagannath Puri Dham, just around the corner from Tota Gopinath. There was a guy, cutting up a carcass of a goat. So I looked at him and I said, Bolo, Bolo. I stood there for a few minutes trying to get the guy to chant, at least one Mahamantra. So we have a lot of service to do. A lot of causeless mercy will benedict us by us giving that causeless mercy to others. I'm happy to go out with you Prabhus today, Prashad and Kirtan distribution. Yes, question.
Oh, you have to.
I don't know what time we
No,
finish.
usually half, but anyway, you're here one time, so. Several times, but you just get to use that. No, but that's it used to be the West, that we're preaching to the conditioned Westerners, but actually here, even in Denmark, they're announced on the national television, They said that there's now a tremendous increase in vegetarians. And the other day I was distributing in a train station, Flintholm, and I was outdone by some vegetarians who were giving out pamphlets. Of course, I just kept it. I just left, because I said, okay, you're taking 3 of them, and they were just taking everyone. So all glories to their service. And as you say, India, there's an increase. So actually, we should be focused on also saving the Indians, because they're being run over.
Yes, unfortunately, Indians have really fallen into the illusion, the British illusion. Actually, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada wrote the Dancing White Elephants. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mission was to bring foreigners to India, so that the Indians could see that they were truly so that they could see that actually we've forgotten our own culture because of some kind of conditioning that the British introduced that made the population of India believe that they were more inferior and to accept the British or Western culture as superior. But then when they see foreigners, or British foreign people, white-skinned people, practicing and following their culture, then they actually think for a second, they snap out of that illusion. Think, actually, maybe what we're doing is wrong. Yes, there is a huge growing movement now in the world of people who are doing yoga, who are vegan, not just vegetarian, vegan, and a very kind of sattvic yogic kind of people. And that's a great preaching field to enter. It's a little dangerous. One has to be very grounded and strong in Krishna consciousness to enter those environments, because there's a lot of Mayavad, there's a lot of impersonal concepts, and people think they know what it's about. They know what yoga means, but actually we know what yoga is. It's bhakti yoga. Even modern day present yoga asanas are being challenged, because apparently in the 1920s and 1930s, I recently saw a BBC program on this, in the 1920s and 1930s there was a exercise regiment of gymnastics which was developed in Scandinavia by a book, a specific famous Olympic athlete, and that book entered India, and then somehow that became heavily influenced by the yoga, I guess you could say the yoga gurus of that time, and they introduced some of those Scandinavian exercises as yoga.
Like all the posters?
I mean, a lot of the postures are coming from a 1920s and 1930s Scandinavia, the Olympic exercise manual. So even it's being challenged. What is yoga? Prabhupada calls it gymnastics, exercise. So real yoga is bhakti yoga. And maybe through that avenue of people who are interested in being healthier and sattvic and vegan, then we can maybe approach, yes, well, there's a reason why you're interested in these things, because you have compassion to the conditioned animals. And now try to offer your food, offer your food to Krishna and have blessed food, etc., etc. So there's many great avenues out there that we can really maximize on. Yeah, India's fallen, unfortunately. I'm quite shocked when I'm in India at the things going on. Now there's a prime minister who's trying to ban cow slaughter, state by state. It's happening slowly. I was told he does Chaturmasya, he follows certain vratas. He's trying to be a bit of a sadhu himself. But in Kali Yuga, the easiest way is through the propagation of the holy name and Srila Prabhupada's books, like Padayatra does in India, Padayatra program, and many of our preaching temples and centers, like our program in Rishikesh, that we do with Navina, near Prabhu. By spreading this causeless mercy through Prabhupada's books and the holy name. Yes, Keshu?
Yeah, I was just wondering about this vegan movement, not from the Brahmins, because it's beautiful, but they, like their thoughts and their feelings toward the animals. But I just wonder about this entering with the devotees, because Bhakti Purna Maharaj, when I talked to him in Mayapur, then he said that it's kind of fashion and that it will last, it will go away. Of course, the point is that we get our own farms. We know that it's just not, like, it's just that when one follows something on the internet, it seems like one can also become proud of
that's true.
This health issue can become more than, benefiting actually the cows by offering them milk. How can we offer soya milk sweets to Krishna? And,
right. So there's two things. One is cow protection. One is taking care of Krishna's cows. At Bhaktivedanta Manor, the milk they use for making the sweets comes from our own cows, etc., etc. I was even told in one reference that Srila Prabhupada was informed that the milk in America contains some kind of fish oil. They used to have some additive in the 70s. And he said, well, we just have to boil it and, pray to Krishna and offer it to Krishna to purify it. So there's two things. One thing is, yes, we do want to have our farm communities, we do want to protect cows, and we do want to take milk from our own cows. Realistically, we want to take produce from our own earth, that we also grow our own food, because the food nowadays, it's not even classified as food. It's genetically modified organisms. It's not even a food. But until we get there, then we have to just do with what we have. I know many devotees, they're vegan because of their health. It helps their health. Some people, too much dairy, too much ghee, too much burfis and cream. It's difficult for their health. Some devotees have got a lot of health benefits from it. Yeah, but I have met people who are very arrogant. The nature of the ego is that, oh, I'm better than you for whatever reasons. I'm better than you because of X, Y, Z. So being a vegan can also, some people can also be very proud of that.
I mean, that's the young ladies who were giving out pamphlets. One of them, I had just had a brief. One took a book, and she was completely new to it. The other one, she was more experienced. And she said, I've been vegetarian, I'm past that, But still, we offer our respects to it because, as you're saying, it's now is actually emergency. And like in England, you've got like a more, you've gone beyond emergency. It's more settled.
Yes.
and you have like a nice setup. But here it's still emergency, you know. You look around, you know, how many devotees are here, you know. It's just basic, you know. Just the basics are maintained, you know. So it's emergency. So we have to buy the milk. We have to just do whatever we can to continue. Like Prabhupada, he would even, you see how he started the movement. He allowed so many things to go on. He just added the chanting. And we're a little beyond that, but of course...
There is a company based out of Rajasthan that Chowpatty temple is connected to. Of course, Krishna Balamandir has been dealing with them for over 15 years. It's like a sadhu-run goshala. It's called Pathmeda company. And they sell big kilograms, 10 kilogram, 5 kilogram milk powder from protected cows. And I was told that all of Radhanath Swami's devotees, different parts of the world, they just order it from Chowpatty temple. That he's instructed that for his disciples. But yeah, I completely accept that we're in an emergency battlefield situation. This is like a missionary outpost in the forefront of Kali Yuga. You know, there's this huge battlefield, there's a war going on, and we have like this little camp, a tent with our machine guns and some ammunition, you know, trying to, you know, support Mahaprabhu's mission. And we just offer everything to Krishna to purify it. Even we had a debate with the vegans that some people say you kill the plant. You harm the plant is a living organism, the plant is being harmed. You're plucking the fruit off the tree, you know, etc., etc. That's another debate. And so to my response, I say, yeah, you have to be a perfect yogi that can live on prana just by breathing. If you can't, then you have to offer the food. That's where I start to preach about prasadam. Then you must make these prayers to Krishna, my dear Lord Krishna. If there's any harm incurred to the living entities when we've taken this plant from the ground, any harm caused to this plant, this living entity, please purify it from that sin. So in the same way with milk, if there's any harm being done to the cow, then please purify it by offering this prasadam. But yes, like some major temples have become established. Bhaktivedanta is established. So much so that the Prime Minister comes and there's a lot of support financially. And we also have a group called the WOOFers, World Organization for Organic Farmers, WOOFA. And they're non-devotees. They come, they live on the temple farm. There's a designated area for them to live. Some caravans and some camping area. And they farm the land. Free labor. And they take prasadam. And they're invited to come for the programs. And there's a little cultivation. And non-devotees are coming and doing service on the temple property.
It's a good point that, you know, you think about the Prime Minister, you're saying, it's so prestigious, even for the Prime Minister.
He said Hare Krishna. He greeted everyone, Hare Krishna.
It's so prestigious for him. I mean, he doesn't do anything if it's not prestigious for his position.
Yeah.
So it's
of course, he talked about votes. Not many people know
but
about
still,
that. He mentioned he wanted votes. Yeah, the politician's like a businessman.
It's so prestigious for him to come there that you see it's so settled and it's so accepted. That's so prestigious for him to come there. For whatever reason he comes there, if he comes there, it's like worthwhile coming, that's for sure.
He got special darshan. Yeah. And got to give Srila Prabhupada a garland. He also got Bhagavad Gita, yes. He got a Bhagavad Gita at the end. A very special edition, big one.
Okay.
not like a thing, we got like this. And that Gita, I was told, goes into a special room in Downing Street in the government, and it sits in a library that every Prime Minister, you know,
would use or...
all the ministers, you know, if you've been a Prime Minister, you get to go there and read the book. It's so